Can y'all hear me? We gonna try this again. We are gonna take it from the top, from the tippy top. Okay? So once again, yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. Can y'all hear me on a Friday night rant? Can you see me on a Friday night rant? Just wait for the people to come up in here. Once again, shout out to all you guys, man, for staying with me, man. That's brutal. That's brutal, man. That was brutal, y'all, for real, man. Once again, man, I really appreciate it. I hope everything continues to work out for the rest of the night with this nonsense that we call technology that I'm not obviously up on. It's kind of embarrassing. Like I said, man, when things like this happen, I can't figure none of this stuff out, y'all. I can't figure. I mean, a lot of you guys that maybe know my channel from the start, I used my cell phone for everything up until like, I don't even know, maybe like a year or so ago, maybe not even that long. And I don't even know this stuff like that. So when things go haywire, I'm all jacked up. So again, shout out to all you guys. Thank you for coming back. Like I said, it's going to jack up my live a little bit and mess up the momentum. We was rolling here. We was rolling. So we'll go back to continue what we were saying. So again, I saw a lot of you guys putting out there the San Antonio Spurs, right? You think the San Antonio Spurs are the best team? And I think, like I said, the only thing that's holding them back is going to be the experience, I think. But they do a lot of things good on the basketball court, I told you, when you talk about the two-way ability of a lot of their players. Also, the San Antonio Spurs, right behind the OKC Thunder, they have the best home record in the NBA. Their home record is 22-6. The OKC Thunder are 25-6 at home. The Detroit Pistons are 23-7 at home. So those are the three best home records in the NBA this season so far. So what you've seen the San Antonio Spurs able to do is very impressive. Again, shout out to all you guys for coming through. Thank you very much. Shout out to Shadow coming through. What's good, homie? He says, Vancouver. Shout out to everybody out there in Canada, man. I appreciate you guys coming through. I'm an OG Grizzlies fan. I'm going to say the Spurs are a team to watch this year, and the Thunder and possibly the Knicks. A team to match this year, and the Thunder and possibly the Knicks. Man, listen, don't get me started on the New York Knicks. You guys know how I feel about the Knicks. I'm not a believer in the Knicks. Shout out to everybody out there in Vancouver. Yeah, like I said, I think it's still the Thunder. I think the Spurs have been a pleasant surprise this year. Like I said, for what they're doing this year, Victor Wembanyama had me nervous this year. I told you guys, I was nervous as hell with Victor Wembanyama this year when he went down. Worried as hell. I was worried last year when he went down and, they're talking about blood clots and all this kind of weird stuff. You never want to hear those kinds of things. I mean, I told you, a lot of us, we hold out hope for guys like Victor Wembanyama. We held out hope for guys like John Morant, Zion Williamson, the Ben Simmons. Like, you hold out hope for guys like Joel Embiid, right? You were hoping these guys were going to do something, right? You were hoping they were going to be somebody. And instead, what they end up being is a disappointment, right? That's what they end up being. So Victor Wembanyama, I told you guys, when I was talking about him last season, I told you the only problem I had with Victor Wembanyama before he went down was the amount of three-point shots he was taking. Guys, remember, he was taking almost 9 threes a game. He was taking like 8.8 three-point attempts per game. And at towards the beginning of the season, right, he was taking like almost 10 threes a game, Victor Wembanyama. And I told you, I did a video and I did the numbers. The Spurs had a losing record every game that Victor Wembanyama took 7 or more threes. 7 or more. They had a losing record. Anytime he took 6 or less, they had a winning record. So I said, that's the only problem I had with him and what he do this year. This year, Victor Wembanyama went out there and was taking 5 threes a game. That's where he should be. 5 threes a game. He shouldn't be out there taking 9, 10, 11 threes a game, chucking up all these threes, missing all these shots. Like I said, putting yourself or not having yourself in position to get rebounds. So this season, when he made that transformation, remember, he went and worked with Hakeem Olajuwon in the offseason, and it shows. The things that he's been doing this season has been sensational, been night and day compared to what he was doing last year, taking all those three-point shots. I told you, I remember sitting on the couch with my family, my father, my brothers on Christmas Day, watching the Knicks versus the Spurs. And this man, Victor Wembanyama, shot like 17 threes in that game. And listen, he was making shots in that game. He was on fire. Dropped like 40 points on Christmas Day, Victor Wembanyama. But they ended up losing that game. And why? Because this man's out there chucking up all these threes. So this season has been a big turnaround, the development and the continued growth of a lot of the other young players on that team. And they seem to have a cohesion now developing. That's the key thing that I look for when I watch a lot of these teams play. I look for the cohesion of the team, right? Like when you look at how they seem to move around each other, if they seem to understand each other on the basketball court, if they seem to understand the game plan, right? What's the focus here? Like, what are we supposed to be doing? These are the kinds of things that I notice from some of these teams. And when you see some of the Spurs games, once again, shout out to my dad for getting the league pass, so I've had access to some of this stuff. This is what I'm seeing from the Spurs on the basketball court. You're seeing a camaraderie. You're seeing a cohesion. You're seeing a joy out there on the court. They look like they're having fun out there winning basketball games. Because winning is fun. So once again, shout out to the San Antonio Spurs, because I said they're a pleasant surprise. When people thought it was going to be the OKC Thunder just running away with a championship or running away with the Western Conference, you have an OKC Thunder team. Like I said, I would love to see what Kevin Durant does for the Houston Rockets. What are you going to do for the Houston Rockets when the playoffs come, Kevin Durant? You know, what are the Denver Nuggets going to look like? Is Nikola Jokic going to be able to get 100% healthy? Is he going to be able to continue to do what he does? Is he going to be able to be an MVP level player when it matters most? Or the Nuggets going to be able to be a threat to the Spurs or a Thunder's team? And like I said, some of these other teams, you know, Anthony Edwards, right, with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Is Anthony Edwards going to do anything? Right? Is he going to try to, be a challenge to some of these other? I mean, listen. Like I said, you have some of these things, some of these storylines coming down the end of the season here, coming into the playoffs. There's a lot of pressure on some of these guys, man. That's why I laughed when Kevin Durant went to the Rockets. I was like, all the pressure now is on this dude to do something on this team. Because the Rockets are primed and ready to go. All you need is a basketball god. Drop the basketball god in there. They should be ready to go. Shout out to all you guys. RJ Basket Foot. Spurs versus Wolves. Conference Finals. That's an interesting matchup. You got the Frenchmen going against each other. Rudy Gobert. Victor Wembanyama. That would be an interesting matchup. Like I said, also with some of the length that the Timberwolves have. Randall and Reed. Right? Daniels. You have some of the length. Edwards. The athleticism. To match up with some of the guys on the Spurs, it would be interesting to see what would happen, what it would come down to. But we have to see, because to me, like I said, Anthony Edwards too. Like, dude, you guys show us something, Anthony Edwards, right? He's been to a conference finals, Anthony Edwards, right? He was on the cusp, right? He's shown flashes, but he's also shown flashes of being a straight up fool out there. Right, being a straight-up goof out there on the basketball court. We all know that he acts like a goof. He talks like a straight-up goof, right? He still acts like he's 17, Anthony Edwards. But these are the kinds of matchups that could happen, like I said, in a first round. You know, like I said, you see some of these teams are really close in the standings here. So it's really going to be interesting how it would match up. Shout out to all you guys out there. Shout out to Love Them Skins coming through with the super. Yo, let's roll. You know the deal, man. Sorry that I had to switch it up on you guys and go to another end the live and then bring it back. So that live is gonna be where I'm up to delete that live, because that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know what the hell happened on that joint. So once again, shout out to my man Love Them Skins for coming through. Shout out to my man 20K coming through with the super. Being from New York City, have you experienced any legendary games at Rucker Park or any parks out there? Well, listen. I've never been or seen any I've been to a game at Rucker Park before. I've never seen any legendary games. I told you guys the stories about when I was young growing up, right? And my dad used to take me and my brothers when I was really, really little, I'm talking about like in walkers and stuff like this, up until I was like 9, 10 years old. I remember my dad always taking me down to Harlem to go play basketball with my uncles, his best friends, right? They used to play down in this gym. And I told you guys, a lot of the time, like a lot of the things that I remember from watching those games, like I don't know if I would, if I could categorize them, or watching my dad and his friends play, and categorize those games as quote unquote legendary. But what I do remember, and I've told you guys, what I remember from those moments, from those games, it's not like the moves my dad was doing out there on the court. And my dad had the afro like Dr. J back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And I don't remember, how many points my dad scored in these games. Like I said, all the moves he was doing out there. I told you I don't remember none of that stuff really like that. What I remember when I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old watching this stuff is I remember like the sweat, right? I told you how sweaty these guys would get out there on the court, like the effort that they were giving. I remember hearing like the grunting and the sneakers screeching on the court, right? Like these are a lot of the things that I remember, watching those guys play basketball. At the time, my dad is probably in his late 30s, mid 30s at this time, doing this stuff, like I said, with my uncles, and their friends from the block. And that's what I remember the most from those games. The effort that I remember hearing those guys give on the court. Like I remember hearing like the bodies banging into each other, like that thud sound, right, from guys banging into each other. I remember it getting heated out there. I remember a lot of yelling, a lot of talking. You know what I'm saying? It's all black people, all right? So, black folks, they loud. You know what I'm saying? You see me, like we loud. So they on the court and they out there vocalizing and they out there talking trash. You know what I'm saying? And they out there, I remember my dad always telling me like one of the things that he used to hate or he hated about playing ball in the streets is he didn't like playing with people who weren't going to give the effort like that. So like you see where I get this from. And like I remember him saying that he would call guys out in the street. Like if you ain't playing like right, you gonna get called out. You know what I'm saying? And he don't like that kind of stuff. So that's why a lot of times when we talk about a lot of this stuff, and I tell you guys, like, would you let this happen out in the streets? Like if you're playing out in the street, would you let this fly? Like some of the things that we see LeBron James do in the basketball court, like it's crazy. Like when we talked about LeBron James and how dirty he is, and AOH highlights this in the video footage, his illegal screens, right? Some of the things that he does under the rim to get a rebound. If someone did that to you out in the street on a game, like they said, it might come to blows. Or you might be, nose to nose with somebody if they out here doing some of this dirty, cheap stuff that we've seen LeBron James do that he gets away with. So once again, shout out to my man 20 Gay for coming through. Yo, J-Bo, for real. Shout out to you. Yes, I'll never forget LeBron shooting in China. Every single shot. I hate sore fools that call any foul, waste time. Yo, for real, I tell you guys, listen, man, you guys know the deal, all right? I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not lying and trying to portray and be someone that I'm not. I'm telling you guys and talking to you naturally here. There's nothing for me to have to think about. I'm just talking to you guys because this is the fact. When you talk about calling the fouls on the court, like sometimes I don't think people get the mentality that people like us have. When I'm telling you, I play ball in the streets all the time, guys. I'm 45. I still play basketball in the parks. Still go to the park and play basketball, man, with kids that are like 25, 23. I told you I was playing basketball last summer, and I was playing when we were in between a couple of games, taking a breather. And the guys we did a water break. And we're standing there talking, and everyone's telling their age. The guy's like, oh, hey, how old are you, man? He's like, oh, I'm 30. The one dude's like, oh, I'm 27. The other guy's like, oh, I'm 33. And he goes, oh, I guess I'm the oldest guy here, he says. And I started laughing. And I go, and the one guy goes, how old are you? And I said, I'm 45. Yo, the look on the faces of these guys when I said I was 45, because it's not that necessarily I didn't look my age. It's that I didn't move on the court like they thought I would be that age. So again, these are the things that I'm talking about. But when we play or when I play basketball, I ain't calling no fouls. I don't call no fouls. I ain't got time for this nonsense, man. Unless you clearly clean me out. Like I'm getting clotheslined or you grab my arm or my shirt or something and it's a clear foul, which I shouldn't even have to call. Y'all should just give me that. I ain't calling no fouls, man. I ain't never played that way. Ain't no one I grew up with ever played that way. We ain't got time for this nonsense. Like I told you, man. Like I said, if it's egregious, you give me the ball. No doubt. But like I said, I'm quicker to call somebody on a travel or somebody out there carrying the ball than I am going to call for some foul. Call no damn fouls out here. I'm playing games and dudes say they foul me, but I tell them to keep playing. I tell them good defense, keep playing. They'll be, I fouled you. No, you good. No, that's what I'm saying. It's just how we do it, man. You guys know the deal, man. Remember, basketball is supposed to be physical. It's not supposed to be dirty. It's not supposed to be necessarily like a violent thing like that. But basketball is supposed to be a physical sport. When people try to act or think that basketball is supposed to be some kind of finesse sport, it's not a finesse sport. There is finesse to basketball, absolutely, man. But it's not a finesse sport to the way that they're trying to make it. That's what you get now. You get finesse basketball, right? They want everybody to be able to move around and, hey, I can move freely. That's not it. That's not how basketball is intended to be played. Basketball is supposed to be banging around. Like I just told you guys, when I remember watching my dad playing basketball in the streets, I remember hearing bodies banging into each other. That's what I remember hearing, the thuds, right? This is what you guys know about. It's going to happen. So again, yeah, I think that, the Spurs are going to be tough because I told you they're really good at home too. So these matchups could come down to the home court advantage. You have the home court advantage. You're very good at home, and you're going to be tough to beat at home. This is where home court advantage can really come into play for some of these teams come playoff time, right? A New York Knicks, a Detroit Pistons. It could come down to home court advantage for some of these teams. And is Victor Wembanyama going to be the best player on the basketball court, man? Once again, shout out to you guys for coming through. Bronny needs more help. Shout out to you for coming through with the super. LeBron is the Drake of the NBA. Outsold Wu-Tang, Tribe, etc. Calls himself the GOAT, but does anyone think he's even in the conversation? Listen, I tell you guys right now, man, you guys know I'm not much into new music, all right? I'll be honest, I'm not into really any new music, all right? I pretty much stopped listening or, I don't even know, like, really what the year is. I mean, people could, my wife laughs at me all the time. She tells me I'm stuck in the 80s and the 90s, and I'm stuck in the past with my music. And she says I listen to Stevie Wonder all the time, and she doesn't know what the hell I'm listening to sometimes. She's like, who are you listening to? Like, I was listening to Phil Collins the other day, man, and she was cracking up laughing. And she's like, who is this? What is this nonsense you listen to? My wife will listen to more of the newer stuff. I told you my daughter is a teenager, so, she's always got this music playing. And so, as far as Drake is concerned, I know who Drake is. Obviously, I don't live in a cave somewhere, under a rock. So I know who he is. And I like some of his songs. I've heard some of his songs, and I do like some of his songs. But as far as like me ranking Drake or him being like the greatest rapper I don't even know if he's really a rapper. Is he really a rapper? I mean, I guess he's more like a singer to me, or a pop star than I would say a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, hip hop is different. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like, it's just different. Like I said, when I grew up back in the, once again, I'm 45, man. So like I said, when I'm taking it back, but you guys have seen the versatility of my music. I listen to all kinds of music, man. Like I told you, my dad has all kinds of records, man. All right, all kinds. I don't discriminate against any kind of music, but I just don't go that like into the newer music. So I don't really know the new people. And like I said, I would never consider, I don't know if I consider Drake a rapper like that. I know he's probably considered a rapper, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, to me, he's probably more of a singer than a rapper, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, shout out to my man, Hoop Oracle, Gino Panzini. Shout out to you guys for coming through. Yeah, so I don't know if I would consider him like a rapper when I think about rappers and some of the guys I grew up with when I was, I think about guys like KRS-One, you mentioned Wu-Tang Clan here, Tribe Called Quest. These are like lyricists. Like I said, these are like MCs, man. A lot of these guys, Grandmaster Flash. When you think about a lot of the guys from back in the day, Bismarck E. I remember Bismarck E and the things that Bismarck E could do on the beatbox, man. Like, it's like I said, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like when I think about some of the things, when I used to listen to like Nas LL Cool J or Rakim. I see you guys out there throwing these guys' name out. To me, that's different. Like, I don't see it. Is Drake in that category? Like, is he in that kind of category? Like, to me, that's rap. That's hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like, to me, that's different. Like, I mean, think about, like I said, I'm not knocking Drake. I know we kind of get off on a tangent here. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not big into the newer music. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a musical savant or any of this kind of stuff. But I don't know if I'm going to put Drake in the conversation with the guys I just mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up, like Nas, man, and stuff like that. And, I said even like Jay-Z, like Jay-Z's early stuff, man. Like, what? Like, Jay-Z's early stuff is crazy, man. Like I told you, like, I always liked Jay-Z and a lot of that stuff, man, that he would put out. But like I said, Nas was always, to me, was crazy. But a lot of those guys, man, like Cool G Rap, DJ Polo, that to me, they were crazy. I see some of you guys, Big Daddy Kane, Gangstar. You guys know, you guys have seen, I put Gangstar up there. One of the groups. You said you guys had mentioned guys like Mobb Deep out there. EPMD. I see you guys. See, you guys know the deal, man. See, it's different. Is Drake out? Is Drake like them guys? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's not Drake. Drake's more pop. He's more like a pop guy to me. That's no knock on him. He's got some good songs, man. He got some good music. You know what I'm saying? But it's different. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's not like what I'm saying with them dudes. Like when you start thinking about those guys, like I always liked like I remember like Big Pun. I always liked Big Pun. Big Pun to me was always really good. So like, they were just like, I say, when you think about that kind of stuff, it's not the same, man. So I see what you're saying. Like, but LeBron James ain't worthy to be in these conversations, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. You know what I'm saying, guys? Once again, shout out to all you guys out there, man, that are putting out some of these names. Yeah, Tupac, you know what I'm saying? Like, Big L, shout out to Big L. Rest in peace to Big L, because like I said, Big L was somebody, you know what I'm saying, from Harlem, that just a smooth ass cat. When you listen to, Harlem's known for smooth dudes, man. If you knew my dad, then he's Harlem personified. You know what I'm saying? The dude I told you, my dad is best man I know, but he's also the coolest dude that I know. That dude way cooler than me, man, I've ever been in my life, guys. And I'm not saying that because he's my dad, and I'm not trying to like, are you glazing your dad? No, man. Like, word up, man. This dude is way cool. No, I'm saying, like, way cooler than I've ever been in my life, man. Like, I don't have an ounce of the coolness of my dad. The way he dressed, the way he walked, the way he talks. That dude is just cool as hell, man. Like, just a cool ass dude. Yo, shout out to DMX, Gino Basically. I told you guys, my dad still ain't never gave me back my DMX CD. I still ain't not got that damn CD back. Yo, I told you guys the story, right? This is when the DMX album came out, right? The first album that he dropped, when Hell Is Hot, right? When his album came out, I told you guys, I got the album. I was like 16 or something like that when the album came out. I can't remember, was that like 96, 97, or whenever the album came out, right? Yo, my dad borrowed the CD from me, right? Yo, he borrowed the CD from me, right? I'm no joke. And yo, I told you, my dad is a straight G like that, right? So I lent him the CD. My dad had this convertible, right? He had this Chrysler Sebring convertible. I don't know if you guys remember Chrysler Sebring convertible. You guys remember that car? My dad, a Chrysler Sebring convertible, man. He thought he was really cool, right? And he had custom license plate. Like, dude, who you think you is? He really thought he was like that, man. Dude, I tell you, man, but Bob thought it was cool, man. So I give him the album, I give him the CD, man. Brand new CD, DMX, the album is so fire, you can't pick it up with your hands. You got to put like those mitts on that you go in the fireplace with. Those are the kind of things that you need to touch that DMX album with. That's how fire that album is, guys. Gave my dad this album, guys, brand new. I still ain't never got it back. And I asked him about it last Christmas, and he tried to play it off that he gave it back to me. I started laughing. I was like, Dad, why are you lying, man? Yo, my wife was cracking up because I told her about that before. I was like, this man still ain't gave back my damn DMX CD. That CD probably worth something. You know what I'm saying? Like a baseball card. He still ain't gave back my damn CD. But I'm telling you guys right now, gave him a CD. He went out, right? My pops went out, drop top convertible, went out all night. I remember I'm at my parents' house. We're in the front chilling. Me and my friends, we shooting hoops. Front of the house. It's like 8, 9 o'clock at night. All of a sudden, we hear some bumping. Like you hear it. You hear it. You hear it. Open up shop. Oh. Listen, man. You hear the beats bumping. You hear it coming. And who is it? It's my dad, man. It's my dad. He's coming with the drop top is down. He's got the DMX blasting. Yo, you can't do that in a white neighborhood. My dad black as hell. You black as hell, y'all. This man came down. I mean, come on, dude. What are you doing, man? They're going to call the cops on us out here in the burbs. You can't do that. But that's what he did. Yo, my people, yo, my boys was laughing. They were cracking up, man. I remember my best friend in high school, man. He was dying. He was like, yo, your pops is gangster like that. Like, yo, still ain't got that CD back, man. But once again, shout out to my pops, man. But he was bumping it, man. Bumping that joint. I mean, ward out. Goodness gracious. We went down on a whole tangent right there, man. Oh, goodness gracious. Good Lord, man. You guys know that, man. That's right. The anthem. You know, I mean, listen, you down. I mean, come on, guys. Come on, man. Rest in peace to DMX, man. Like I said, man, just insane stuff, man. You guys are dropping some really good names out there in the chat. Once again, see, this is what I'm talking about when I say, like, when you think about the people that come to your channel and the people that support your channel and all this kind of stuff, man. Like I said, you guys are real, man. Real recognized real, man. So once again, shout out to all you guys for coming through it and dropping down some of the names that you guys have. Yo, shout out to DJ Kid Capri. You know what's funny? DJ Kid Capri is that I used to call myself the Black Italian, right? Like a lot of times when I used to talk to girls, I'd be, oh, yo, I'm Black Italian, I'm Black Italian, I'm a Black Italian. And I got that from DJ Kid Capri because he's the Black Italian. So once again, shout out to DJ Kid Capri, man. All those guys out there, man, for real, man. I remember we used to go down to Chinatown and get the bootleg DJ Clue tapes. You guys remember DJ Clue, Desert Storm, obviously. I remember we used to go down to Chinatown and get the bootleg, or like the DJ Clue tapes on the low, man, out there down in Chinatown. So once again, shout out to DJ Clue. He always has some good stuff too. Again, man, you guys know the deal, man. So another thing that I wanted to talk about, let's go into another area here or something else that I want to about. You guys have seen this week. It's been crazy this week, man. You guys have seen the videos that I've done. You guys have seen the videos I've done. You see all the Scottie Pippen stuff going on. You see all the Nikola Jokic stuff going on. It's the promotion of some of these players. I mean, my goodness, guys, it's gotten out of control here, man. Out of control. Shout out to the Real Side Beers who came through again with the super. From the movie Running Scared. No autopsy, no foul. It isn't ballet. It's a physical game. Sometimes people get hurt. You don't cry about it. Yo, the Real Side Beers, you guys know how I feel about the movie Running Scared, man. That's the fact, because you guys remember that movie when Billy Crystal gets hit with the elbow, right? When they're out there playing basketball. In the street right there. So once again, shout out to my man, the Real Siberius, for coming through it and bringing up a classic movie like Running Scared. Once again, shout out to Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. Rest in peace, the late Gregory Hines, man. Funny stuff out there, but that's the truth, man. Basketball is physical. You guys know that. That's the way it is on the court. That's the way we grew up playing the game. That's the way the game was meant to be played. It's a physical game. Like I said here, we understand fouls and hard fouls. Right? That's the way it is, right? Guys should be allowed to play physically. They should allow the physicality back into the NBA because that's one of the biggest things that's missing in the NBA is the physicality. Because physicality breeds rivalries, right? And it breeds these kinds of things. And it forces those guys to have to make the adjustments and really go out there and earn it. And prove that they're really as skilled and as great as they really are. Go out there and prove that stuff. So again, man, you guys know the deal. Oh, man, you guys got me gone out here in the comment section, man, with some of the names you guys are dropping out there. Yeah, shout out to the Fugees. Keon Hendrickson, shout out to you, man. I'm chilling. You guys know that. So again, I wanted to touch on. So, what have I told you guys? I'm always telling you guys that it's not always about a certain player, right? So, like, if we talk about Scottie Pippen, or if we talk about LeBron James, or we're talking about Nikola Jokic, or we're talking about James Harden, or I'm talking about Kevin Durant, we're talking about some of these players. It's not always about the player, but it's about the promotion of the player, right? The promotion, the narrative that they're trying to create, the rewriting of history, the bending of reality that they do for a lot of these players. That's what you're setting the record straight on, right? That's what it's about. So when I hear people talk about some of these players now, and I know that they're not being on, like, you're not being 100% here, and you're not being accurate historically. Like I said, when you're trying to change the history of how it happened to try to fit the narrative that you want to create, I have a problem with this stuff. So like I said, none of us would want people trying to rewrite our history. We wouldn't want this kind of stuff, right? We would want everyone to be honest about whatever we accomplished in our lives, however we went about our careers, whatever it was. Don't try to rewrite my career now that I'm gone, or now that I've left and I went to another job, or I retired from a job. Now you're going to try to talk about me when I'm gone and try to rewrite my career and act like I didn't do X, Y, Z. That's what they're doing now here. These guys work a job. They're professional athletes. They played in the NBA. They do whatever they do in their career. They do it however they did it. And now all these years later, you have people out here who didn't even watch these guys, who never even watched them at work. Never saw those guys at work do their jobs. They're telling us now how they did their jobs, what they really did. Oh, they don't know. And they'll say what? They're not being honest with you now. They're not being honest with you guys about how they were back then, but we're telling you the truth now. You weren't even around. How are you going to tell me the truth? You weren't there. You're rewriting history. You're trying to change how it went down. Yo, you guys have gone down on, I see Jodeci come up in the chat now, the Jungle Brothers. You guys are hitting, saying all kinds of people now. Nice and Smooth. Yo, shout out to Nice and Smooth, because they were Grand Poobah. You guys remember Grand Poobah? So shout out to all those guys. Brand Nubian. I remember some of these guys. I told you. I saw you guys mention Black Sheep out there. A bunch of you guys. Yeah, Busta Rhymes was always like Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes like me. If I was a rapper, I would probably be Busta Rhymes. That's probably who I would be. You know what I'm saying? I would be Busta Rhymes. I would be a dude out there just ranting on a microphone. That's Busta Rhymes, man. Just out there rapping, you know what I'm saying? Ranting on a rap. Busta Rhymes get you hyped up, man. Like, Busta Rhymes' rap videos, I used to love his rap videos, man. Dude, rap videos is off the chain. He have you all pumped up in the rap. He be, got you all in check. Like, Busta Rhymes used to have you going crazy out there. Oh, man, goodness gracious, man. I remember a lot of those guys performing on In Living Color. You guys remember the show In Living Color? Some of those groups from back in the day, I remember them performing on In Living Color. So shout out to all those guys, and shout out to In Living Color for, once again, like I said, opening the doors and giving some of those guys, like I said, some notoriety. Yeah, Heavy D. Yeah, you guys know the deal, man. Outkast. Yeah, I always liked Outkast, man. I always thought that they had a cool dynamic between them when you talk about Big Boy and Andre 3000, two different styles, and I think it went well together with what they did. That's right. J-Lo was one of the Fly Girls. That's right, the real Siberians. I think if I remember correctly, I think Rosie Perez. I think she was the choreographer for the Fly Girls. So shout out to everybody out there. Like I said, a lot of people got their starts on In Living Color because Keenen Ivory Wayans is a genius. Once again, one of the great, black entrepreneurs, whatever you want to say or call Keenen Ivory Wayans. Keenen Ivory Wayans is a genius, man. Absolute genius. I'm saying, and shout out to Keenen Ivory Wayans, like I said, the Wayans family, because Keenen Ivory Wayans gave us a lot of great stuff. Like I said, he gave us In Living Color. And those damn people, they ran Keenen Ivory Wayans and Living Color whole thing, they ran him up out of there, man. That show should have went on for years and years and years in Living Color. I remember in Living Color was one of the shows when it was on that I used to always, like, I couldn't wait for In Living Color. Like, that show was like that. You know what I'm saying? And when you talk and you think about the talent level on In Living Color, guys, you're talking about Jim Carrey before people knew who these guys were. Keenan Ivory Wayans opened these guys' doors. He let that white dude do his white dude stuff. You ever see Jim Carrey in Living Color? That dude is a crazy genius. He's like a mad scientist, Jim Carrey. He had this skit called Fire Marshal Bill. A lot of you guys remember this stuff. Insane skits. I mean, this is genius stuff here from Jim Carrey. Jamie Foxx was on that show. Tommy Davidson, David Allen Greer. I mean, Kim Wayans. I mean, there were so many great legendary people that came on that program. I mean, we all know about Damon Wayans, right? Sean Wayans, Marlon Wayans, the Wayanses. I mean, come on, man. I mean, goodness gracious, legendary skits. I've mentioned many of them on my channel. I've posted photos of a lot of these skits. I mean, my God, man, just insane stuff, guys. When you think about, like I said, what Keenan Ivory Wayans, like I said, the mind of that man, when you talk about seeing things, seeing talent, seeing things in people, I mean, my God, man. Like I said, we were so fortunate, man. We didn't even know. Think about what you had on that program, guys. Think about the genius skits you remember on that program. You guys remember Men on Film? I see a lot of you guys throwing these names out there. You guys remember that stuff, Men on Film? Come on, man. That was hilarious stuff, man. I saw you guys, Homie the Clown. That's right. Come on, guys. These are great skits. You guys remember Jamie Foxx used to do that character, Wanda, right? He used to do that Wanda with the lips. He used to do that. You remember Jim Carrey used to do the Elvira? Is it Elvira? I can't remember. Maybe it wasn't Elvira, something. But she was like a warrior. Remember, he was dressed up as like a warrior, like almost like a Red Sonja, Jim Carrey. The dude had so many great skits. You had Damon Wayans as Anton, the homeless guy, right? I mean, you just had so many skits that, if we just sat and thought about it, I mean, we could go on for probably a 3-hour live show on the skits on In Living Color. I mean, think about it. I guess the only thing that you could relate In Living Color to, or I guess, I don't know, man, maybe like the Chappelle Show, right? When you think about the talent on the Chappelle Show and the genius writing and the creative skits on the Chappelle Show, to me, that's probably a good comparison as far as genius, comedy, pushing the limits, being funny, like I said, and having a great cast, ensemble of people, of talent. When you think about some of the people on there, I see somebody mention Mad TV. I didn't really watch Mad TV too much. I don't know it that well, but I do remember it being a very big show. I remember Mad Magazine. I used to watch Mad Magazine, read Mad Magazine all the time. Mad Magazine was a big magazine for a lot of us back in the day. In Living Color was great, man. Was just great. Once again, shout out to all you guys. I see a lot of you guys that did watch Mad TV. So shout out to all you guys. Shout out to my man Kevin Kingslayer, the Jesse Glad Saget, shouting out Mad TV. Yeah, you guys know the deal, man. These are the facts out here. So when we're talking about the promotion, for a lot of these guys, like today, and how they promote them, and how they're trying to now promote someone like a Scottie Pippen, or someone like a Kevin Durant, right? When they say when Lou Williams is telling you that Kevin Durant is top 6 all time, like, I don't even know how he got there. Like, I have no clue how Kevin Durant could be top 6 for Lou Williams. And I said, listen, people have opinions. We get that, right? And he can feel how he wants to feel. However, I told you, you have to be able to explain this stuff. And there's no explanation for having Kevin Durant top 6, right? Or he's number 6 all time. I told you, by default, in my opinion, by default, Steph Curry's top 5 then. There's no way you can have Kevin Durant above Steph Curry. How is that possible? It's not possible. It's impossible. It's Tom Cruise impossible. There's no way you can tell me Kevin Durant's greater than Steph Curry all time when he had to join that man to win a championship. I don't want to hear about Kevin Durant winning the Finals MVP. Steph Curry allowed Kevin Durant to win those Finals MVPs. That goes on Steph Curry's greatness, man. On Steph Curry's greatness. Because he was the one that allowed Kevin Durant to come there, right? We can argue whether or not Steph Curry begged him to come there or not. And I've told you guys, this is part of the reason why Steph Curry ain't in my top 10. All right? This is not on Steph Curry. You played with Kevin Durant. But it was Steph Curry that made that transition seamless. Right? And that's part of the reason why Kevin Durant wanted to go there. Because he knew there would be no problem for him, no burden on him. He knew playing with Steph Curry would be easy. Because everyone could play with Steph Curry. I told you, the man made Andrew Wiggins a champion. So I told you, all of a sudden now, Kevin Durant is top 6. So I said to Lou Williams, if you're going to put this kind of crap stuff out there on the airwaves, then you got to give me your top 5, dude. You got to give me your top 5. Yo, shout out to Mr. Bean, Gino Panzini. Yo, you guys are dropping some good stuff right now, man. That's why I love you guys. Because you guys are funny, and you guys think the same things. You guys know the same stuff. Like I said, Mr. Bean was hilarious. Once again, when you talk about genius, this man didn't speak. Like this dude, Mr. Bean, he didn't speak but maybe like 1 or 2 words. And he sounded hilarious. Like, I mean, my God, man. And he'd have an entire skit and he didn't say a damn thing. And you would be cracking up. Like one of my favorite Mr. Bean skits that stayed in my mind. And again, I know I'm kind of rambling and I'm going off on tangents, guys. So forgive me for always talking about something and going back over here and going over there. There was a skit where he was on the beach, right? He goes to the beach. And you guys know Mr. Bean. He's all dressed in a suit all the time, that same suit that he always wears, right? So he's walking onto the beach, right? And he sees there's no one on the beach but one person there, right? There's a guy sitting there. And he's in a chair. He's got some sunglasses on, right? These dark sunglasses on. And he's sitting there in the chair. And he looks like he's like sunbathing, right? Just sitting there, getting some sun, relaxing on a chair on the beach. So he gets to the beach. He has his chairs, all this stuff. And he wants to change into his bathing suit, right? So the only problem is that he doesn't want the guy that's there. He can't change into the bathing suit with the guy sitting right there looking at him, right? He's too shy and embarrassed to get changed in front of the guy. So the entire skit is Mr. Bean trying to get his bathing suit on over his suit. So he's trying to put his bathing suit on and get his suit off so this guy don't see him naked because he's sitting right there. I mean, this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. So he goes through all this crazy maneuvering, trying to get his bathing suit on, right? And at the end of all of that, the guy gets up and he ends up being blind, right? He gets up with the stick and he's blind. Those are, right? I mean, hilarious stuff, man. And the entire skit, he didn't say a word. I mean, the faces he makes, I mean, like, that's what it was for someone like Mr. Bean. It was the facial expressions he would make, the way he would move his body, the awkward looks. I mean, just funny stuff, man. Funny stuff. Like I said, if you don't really get what I'm saying in the chat, if you guys think I'm sounding crazy, you have to see, I guess, to really feel and understand how funny it really was, what he was doing and how he was trying to accomplish all of this because the guy was sitting right there. I mean, just absolute, like I said, genius stuff. Talent, these people are talented. Humans, people are amazing, guys. All right? People really are. Well, that's why I tell you, man, it's sad sometimes when you look at society and you see what we've become, like, for a large majority of people, it's like, well, what are we doing here? We're going backwards here. Like, we're so much better than this. And people, like I said, people don't care anymore. I said we're lazy. Like I said, and not just lazy physically, exercise-wise. We're just lazy everything. Our mind, the way we think, the way we feel about other people. You know what I'm saying? The way we feel about ourselves, our jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one has pride anymore. Like I said, no one holds himself to a standard. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, people are amazing, man. They do crazy things, man. They really do. So anyway, there's no way in hell that Kevin Durant is top 6 all time, man. There's no freaking way. He ain't close. All right, guys? Now, I talked about this in a video. But there's just no way, all right? So this whole promotion of these players got out of hand. Like I said, to me, that's not even an opinion. Like, there's no opinion to me where Kevin Durant top 6. That's not an opinion. That's a stupid statement. That's you just feeling emotional, right? And that's what that is. I don't get Lou Williams in there. But then when you think about Lou Williams, he's the same fool that said if you drop LeBron James in the 70s, then he wins like 20 championships. I don't know how the hell you win 20 championships in a 10-year decade, but Lou Williams somehow figured it out because he exaggerated how many championships. But he's like 17, I think he said. He won 17 championships in a row. How do you win 17 championships in 10 years? I don't even understand you would even pull that off. But that's what Lou Williams says. I'm telling you, these guys are a bunch of fools, man. They're idiots. All right? Idiots. If I had to be honest with Kevin Durant, I told you, I don't respect his career, guys. I respect his game. I respect what he does, like at a high level. What Kevin Durant does, making shots, right? No doubt about it. I've given him props. I respect that. But he doesn't do anything else to me at a high level like that. He doesn't play defense like that. He don't rebound like that. His leadership ain't like that. His passing or playmaking ability, to me, is not like that. He's good in these areas, but he's not elite, like the shot making. So they keep talking about Kevin Durant, and they talk about him pulling up in the parking lot, like my man Jordan versus LeBron James, or like LeBron said earlier. Like, no, like I said in my video, wake me up when the parking lot becomes part of the court. And if I need a shot from the parking lot, maybe I'll call for Kevin Durant. But until then, I'm good. They're making up scenarios. I told you they're over-promoting and over-hyping these guys. It's BS, man. Yo, Benito Halls, what up? Shout out to you guys. This is no way in hell, man. That's right. You know that. Giannis would average, he would score 200 points in a game, Giannis. Giannis would score 200 points in a game. That's insane. Remember, LeBron James said that in the 70s. That's how much we love our NBA's history. They would score, one player would score 200 points in a game when no NBA team in the 70s scored 200 points. This is what we're doing to the other eras. But then they get upset when they say Michael Jordan can average 40. And that's going to segue me into my next topic that I wanted to touch on briefly. Once again, shout out to my man Charles over the Dreamers Pro, because I was into a video that he did earlier, the other day. And he was talking about these comments from Max Kellerman. And Max Kellerman talked about, yeah, you know exactly. You know Lou Williams on that clutch nonsense. Lou Williams be saying some weird stuff, man. Weird ass stuff. And Max Kellerman made some comments about Michael Jordan being able to average a 40-point triple-double in the NBA in this era. Once again, shout out to all you guys on a Friday night. I hope you guys had a good week. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope you guys have a good Friday night. Thank you guys for spending some time with this Friday night. And, you know, whether or not Michael Jordan would average a 40-point triple-double is irrelevant. I told you guys, it doesn't even matter. To me, these conversations are not, you know, they're what-if scenario, right? These are hypotheticals, right? The thing I always told you guys is I heard Nick Wright have some pushback for this, right? And what Nick Wright tried to do is relate Michael Jordan and what they're saying about Michael Jordan to other players, other great players, other great scorers. And I don't think that that's accurate, because when people are saying or referencing Michael Jordan possibly averaging 40 points a game, Max Kellerman in this instance saying that he would average a 40-point triple-double in this era, why are they saying Michael Jordan? They're not saying anybody from the 80s or anybody from the 90s, right? Or any shooting guard from this era or any shooting guard from that era or any center from this era would average 40. They're saying Michael Jordan would. Michael Jordan would. Why are they saying Michael Jordan? Because Michael Jordan's recognized, I thought he was recognized as the greatest scorer of all time. That's what I thought. Unfortunately now, they're trying to tell me that Nikola Jokic is a greater offensive player than Michael Jordan now. They've tried to tell me that James Harden is a greater scorer than Michael Jordan now. They're telling you that Kevin Durant's a greater scorer than Michael Jordan now. I told you right before Lou Williams said that nonsense, you had that fool Chandler Parsons call Kevin Durant the greatest scorer of all time. And what do they use to explain that? narrative or opinion. The quote-unquote efficiency of Kevin Durant. No one's as efficient as Kevin Durant. He can average 50% shooting and blah, blah, blah. Again, from a guy who protects his field goal percentage, Kevin Durant, who doesn't really have the mentality of the great elite scorers, in my opinion, like a Michael Jordan. Like I told you guys, when you think about Allen Iverson and you think about being relentless, is anyone going to argue that Allen Iverson is a better shooter than Kevin Durant? Nope. Is anyone going to argue that Allen Iverson is more, quote-unquote, efficient than Kevin Durant? Nope. But the one thing that I know for certain is that Allen Iverson is going to go out there, he's going to dine his shield, man. He's going to go out there, he's going to give it, he's going to max out. He's going to max out. You're going to get the all. That's the relentlessness from Allen Iverson. So what does that turn into? What does that look like on a basketball court? Well, it happens to look like a guy who dragged an offense to an NBA Finals. But not only that, he was able to lead that team, right, to a win against all odds. This is what Allen Iverson was able to do, right? So when people talk about pound for pounds and they bring up someone like Allen Iverson, this is why. Because he was relentless. When you see him get knocked down and you see him get back up, you respect that. No one's arguing Allen Iverson the greatest of all time or the greatest scorer in NBA's history, but the relentlessness of Allen Iverson was scary. You were worried about this. You felt threatened by it. Kevin Durant don't scare me, man. Don't scare me out there. Allen Iverson scared you out there in the court because that man was going to keep coming. So even if he was 1 for 15 or 2 for 18, and people are like, yeah, Allen Iverson was out there taking 25, 30 shots, man. He's a shot chucker, this and that. Allen Iverson was playing the game that he had to play for the team that he was on. That's what he did. He played his game. That's what he did. But he didn't shortchange himself. He didn't shortchange the fans. He didn't try to cheat the game. He didn't team hop up. He didn't join Kobe and the Lakers after they beat him. Right? Did he do that in 2002? No. After they beat him down, he just came back the next season on the Sixers. Now what Kevin Durant did, he got beat down and went and joined them dudes. But now they're going to chalk Allen Iverson up to a guy who's not efficient. Oh, Allen Iverson wasn't efficient. He's a shot chucker now. Are you kidding me? Insane stuff that we're saying now about some of the great players. Again, no one's arguing Allen Iverson as the greatest player of all time or top 6. I've never said that on my channel. Never said that once. But when I talk about scoring the basketball and we talk about being a relentless dude and you're talking about coming at people, and like I said, you talk about what Kevin Durant is being promoted to being able to do. You don't have the mindset. If you give Kevin Durant Allen Iverson's mind, watch out now. Watch the hell out. Watch the hell out. Yo, can you guys give me like 1 minute? Give me 1 minute, guys. All right. Forgive me, guys. Forgive me. I had to get some more water real quick. You guys know if I don't got no water and I'm out here rambling and ranting, I'll be jacked up in the morning. I'll be hurting. So yeah, guys, it's like I said, it always goes back to promotion. And I want to read some comments off to you guys, all right? Once again, shout out to all you guys that come through. That's right. He don't have them games like that. Nowhere near the amount of 40, 50-point games that you would think someone with Durant's offensive skills that he would have. And again, I'm not trying to trash Kevin Durant here. You guys know I don't respect his career, but I told you I respect his game and what he could do on the court. I've told you. For me, when you think about Kevin Durant, they only highlight what he does great. And to me, he does one thing great. But I told you, when you think about other aspects of the game, I just can't, man. I can't, like, we talk about the turnovers for Kevin Durant. I told you, they don't promote the turnovers for Kevin Durant, right, that they do for some of the other players. But look at Kevin Durant turnovers, guys. I mean, it's glaring that Kevin Durant turns the ball over a lot. He just does. So once again, these are the facts out here. I'm going to read some comments off, though, guys, that was sent to me. And this is part of what I'm talking about when I talk about the promotion of the players today and how they promote them and how these fans, they get confused, all right? So understand, listen to me. Yo, once again, shout out to you, Ant Weston, for coming through. AI is my favorite player. I don't think he is the GOAT. Yeah, absolutely. Like when people talk about Allen Iverson, again, they use terms like pound for pound, right? People will argue, oh, pound for pound, Allen Iverson, one of the greatest players of all time, maybe the greatest player of all time, pound for pound. So I told you, if you give Kevin Durant, right, or if you give Allen Iverson, let's say, Kevin Durant's, physical attributes, his height, his length, right, what he's able to do. Because remember, to me, Allen Iverson's a greater athlete than Kevin Durant, a much greater athlete overall. But you don't have the height of a Kevin Durant, right? But to me, Allen Iverson, moving on the basketball court, what he can do, just a greater athlete than Kevin Durant. But Allen Iverson didn't have the size. And remember, when Allen Iverson came in the league, there were still big men like that, right? It was still a big man's game like that, and there was still physicality in the game when Allen Iverson came in. So you're getting knocked down to the ground a lot. You're taking these beatings a lot from someone who's not that big. So he went out there and earned it, Allen Iverson. That's what he did. So I told you, we respect Allen Iverson. I respect his career. Was Allen Iverson perfect? No, he wasn't perfect, man. We didn't argue about being perfect. But again, I respect his career. I respect the way he went about his career. I respect his game. I don't respect Kevin Durant's career. Like I said, if Allen Iverson would have joined the Lakers after they beat him, that's essentially what Kevin Durant did with Allen Iverson. If he would have done something like that, that's what Kevin Durant did, man. Okay, again, once again, Allen Iverson won an MVP in a stiff league, man. All right, he won an MVP in a stiff league with guys like Shaq and Duncan, right, and Kobe and Jason Kidd, right, and Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki and Kevin Garnett. He won MVP in that league with them dudes. So again, I'm gonna read some comments off to you guys that were sent to me. This is about SGA, all right? This is about SGA and now how they're promoting SGA now. So shout out to you guys out here. I told you, man, it's about the promotion. Remember, guys, the promotion here. I see you guys said some supers, man. Forgive me, guys. Shout out to my man J-Vo Music coming through. Good times, all in the family, married with children, the Jeffersons, all would be canceled in this soft-ass society. Everybody wants to be a victim. Absolutely. Shout out to my man J-Vo Music for coming through and throwing out some really legendary shows when you talk about some of the stuff and the things that you're allowed to say and, you're allowed to, like I said, man, it's really weird. A lot of the things that, I'll give you guys an example I'm talking about. I remember, and I told you guys, I was into Pop Warner football, right? And when we moved out the city, my mother put us, me and my brothers, into Pop Warner football. I told you guys a story about this stuff, right? When my mother put us into Pop Warner football, I didn't want to play football, right? I told you guys, after my first year of football, I wanted to stop playing. I didn't want to play anymore. And I wanted to quit like my second game, right? And my mother wouldn't let me quit. She was like, no, you're not going to quit. You're going to finish the season out. And then you can, if you don't want to play, then you don't have to play. But you're going to finish the season. And I told you, because my mother wouldn't allow me to quit and stop playing, I ended up loving football and it became like my favorite sport all through high school, all this stuff. So I ended up loving football, right? But I didn't want to play it anymore. My mother wanted to quit. So anyway, my mother ended up becoming like part of the, the Pop Warner, program. Like she ended up becoming the president of the Pop Warner football program out here in the area. So my mother became like a very well-known person in this Pop Warner in the organization, right? She ran the snack bar. She was in charge when kids had to get weighed in. All this stuff, my mother, she was involved in all this stuff. I told you guys, man, I'm very fortunate, man. Very fortunate. This is why I'm trying to pay this stuff forward to my children, because my parents did these things for me. My mom came to my football games. I told you, my dad never came to my stuff. That man was always working. But my mom, who worked a lot too, she came to all my games, man. All my football games. My mom never, I told you, I got the VHS tapes today. And I tell you guys, I got a VHS player. And anytime that I've played those tapes, I haven't played them in a long, long time. But when I played them in the past, I can always hear my mother's voice in the crowd on those tapes, guys. I'm always going to have that. So anyway, I remember I came home one time, this is like maybe a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I came home to my parents' house one time, and my mother she volunteers on the weekend still to do this stuff. Whenever she's available, she'll work the snack bar. So I remember one day, I go to my parents' house, and we're talking about the Pop Warner stuff. And anyone that ever played Pop Warner football, I don't know if you guys ever did, there are certain levels, right? And there are names for these levels, right? So it started off with like Mighty Mites, right? And then there was like Junior Pee-wees. Then there was like Pee-wees. And then there was certain divisions that were called the Junior Midgets and the Midgets. So I remember I was talking to her, right? And I asked her about the Pop Warner stuff and how it was going, how the teams were doing. Like, did they have any good teams that were maybe going to make it to a state championship or something like that? And I asked her about, like, are the midgets any good? Because the midgets was always the oldest group, right? That was usually like, kids in like maybe like 8th or 9th grade, or, maybe 9th or 10th grade, on the midgets usually, usually it goes by weight. In Pop Warner, it was always like a weight type of deal. So I asked her about the midgets. That's what I said to her. And she looked at me and she started laughing. And she said, "You can't say that anymore." And I said, "What do you mean I can't say that anymore?" She goes, "They don't call them midgets anymore." And I said, "What do you mean they don't call them midgets?" And she said, "They don't refer to those divisions as midgets or junior midgets anymore." And I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I started laughing. And I said, "Why?" Because it's offensive. The word is offensive to people. And I don't see, like, my thing with some of this stuff is it doesn't make any sense to me. All right? Because I understand what people are trying to do when they're trying to, you can't say that anymore. We have to stop, and we have to, once again, understand and differentiate between when people are saying something to use it in a derogatory sense, or to be negative, or to bully somebody, or something like that. And when people are just using something, like I said, in a Pop Warner division, I never once, when I was playing football at 11, 12, 13 years old in Pop Warner, I never once thought, like, when we were playing football and we're the junior midget or the midget division, I never once thought, like, yeah, man, we're making fun of, midgets. We're making fun of people who are not tall. Like, I never once thought that was the case. That's why they labeled them this way. So sometimes, like I said, people get offended when they shouldn't be offended, but people take offense to things when there's nothing to take offense to. It's almost like you guys remember and I made the comment, I talked about the that movie Tropic Thunder before, and I told you guys about that scene in Tropic Thunder, right? And I told you I believe they edited it out of the movie, and it was a scene with Robert Downey Jr. and Ben Stiller, right? And they were talking about going, quote unquote, full retard, right? And in the scene, he was talking about Ben Stiller, playing a movie role, right? And saying how you went full retard. The character you played in the movie, you were a fully retarded person. So he's saying, what he's saying there is, like, you never do that in Hollywood. If you want to win an award, right, playing someone who's handicapped, you can't go fully retarded. You're not going to win an award for playing a fully retarded person. So he gave examples of guys who played roles that were considered handicapped or retarded people, but they weren't fully retard, right? And to me, that scene is hilarious. It's a hilarious scene. Not because they're making fun of retarded people, because they're not making fun of retarded people. But the point he makes is actually very valid. Because when he brings up Tom Hanks' character and he brings up the movie Forrest Gump, which I'm sure you guys have probably all seen, the legendary work of Tom Hanks in the movie Forrest Gump, and the character he portrayed in this movie, Forrest Gump, and now he was a handicapped, quote-unquote, retarded person. What does Robert Downey Jr. say in that movie, in that scene? He says, Tom Hanks wasn't playing a fully retarded person. He said Forrest Gump was not retarded. He wasn't full retard. He said the man was a war hero. He said, you tell me and name me another war hero that's retarded. You name me a retarded war hero. So he talked about the things that he accomplished in his career, in his life. When you think about the movie Forrest Gump, that man accomplished and did all kinds of things in his career. The man was a war hero. He invented things. He came with all kinds of stuff. He ran across the goddamn country. He did all kinds of stuff, man. He had the shrimp boat. I mean, the dude lived a hell of a life, Forrest Gump, right? Got the blonde girl, right? And he was retarded. But he told them he wasn't fully retard because there ain't no full retarded person as a war hero. But they weren't making fun of retarded people. So it wasn't about that. Again, man, when I was growing up, when we were kids, a lot of times people would say something like that. Oh, man, you being retarded right now. Yo, stop acting retarded. You're not making fun of retarded people. That's not what you're doing there. You're not laughing at them. And, oh, you're retarded. Good for you. You know what I'm saying? Sucks for you. No. But you're saying you're acting retarded here. Stop being stupid. You're not handicapped. So stop acting like somebody who is handicapped. Goodness gracious, man. Yeah, you're right about that slick talk. That blonde girl she was all jacked up, and he still loved her, man. Damn Jenny. Jenny was a dirty, nasty girl. She was a nasty freak, man. And she tried to turn the leaf. She turned over a new leaf, but she did him dirty. The entire movie, she did that man dirty. He's handicapped, and you still did him dirty. And at the end, he still took you back. He still was there for her at the end, man. My goodness gracious, man. Man, we are rambling on right now, man. We are rambling on tonight. This is Crazy Live, man. Crazy live stream. Once again, shout out to all you guys that continue to come through. Shout out to my man, The Real Siberius. I hate to self-promote, but I would appreciate if you guys would check out my channel and give some honest feedback. Yo, man, you ain't got to donate to get no promotion. I'll promote you without any donating, The Real Siberius. I've shouted you guys out before. Shout out my man, The Real Siberius before. You guys should definitely check his channel out. You guys know I'm subscribed to his channel. You guys should definitely go check out my man, The Real Siberius. Shout out to you, man. I'll try to share some more of your content to help get the word out for you on the stuff that you do, man. You don't have to glaze me. Be honest and real. I do swear a lot, just FYI. So again, you guys know. Shout out to The Real Siberius. You guys know I don't really curse on this channel like that, but you guys know that I work with my man AOH a lot, and he curses. And so if you can deal with AOH, then I'm sure you guys can get it with my man, The Real Siberius. Shout out to my man Keon Hendricks for coming through. James Harden, to me, has more of a scores mentality than KD. Right. The only thing that James Harden's missing versus Kevin Durant is the actual skills. Like, to me, what Kevin Durant can do, to me, is greater. Right? He's a greater shooter to me, Kevin Durant, than James Harden. Shot maker, Kevin Durant. But you're right. It seems to me that James Harden, he'll chuck up 30 shots. He'll go out there and chuck up a bunch of bricks. We saw him do it in 2018, right? So, yeah, some of these other guys, they're mental. Some like Kevin Durant, yeah, some of these other guys have a better mental or more of a willingness to go out there and keep shooting those shots. Kevin Durant is okay. Like, he's fine with going out there taking 17 or 18 shots, right? Like I said, maybe making 8, 9 of them shots, right? 50, 55% from Kevin Durant, scoring 25, 26 points a game, right? And calling it a night. He's good going out there and doing that. That's not going to get it done. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the nights, especially right now for the Houston Rockets, they need him to score an average 30 for them to be competitive the way they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be a formidable team. Like, we should be talking about the Rockets the way we were talking about the Spurs earlier. But we're not talking about the Rockets that way. And I know Steven Adams went down. That was a big loss for them this season, Steven Adams, because when he went down, I don't know if he's going to come back or not, but when he went down, he was leading the league in offensive rebounding. So again, shout out to all you guys. Like I said, my man Keon Hendrickson for coming through, man. It means a lot. Thank you very much. You guys know the deal, man. These are the facts out here. So, yeah, I know. This is what happens when you guys, shout out to my man Afro 8, what up? RC 900. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The skills, to me, I would go with Kevin Durant's skills in shot making But James Harden will chuck them shots up, though. He will go out there. He don't give a damn about field goal percentage. Kevin Durant seems to me that he cares about his field goal percentage, right? Like LeBron James does. But I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to read off a couple of these comments, you guys, just so you guys can get a visual, and then we'll move on to LeBron James and some of the things I want to talk about LeBron James before we end this live. Actually, you know what, guys? I'm not even going to read them off. I ain't even reading them off, man. I'm not even reading them off, man, because this is just going to, we ain't got time for this. I'll be honest, guys, we ain't got time for this, man, because I'm looking at this stuff now, and it's just going to piss me off even more. I'm not even doing it. I'm going to save it for the Sunday morning show, all right? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to save it for the Sunday morning show because this is just ridiculous stuff, man. We have to talk about LeBron James, guys. We have to. We have to talk about that display. We have to talk about this man flopping onto the floor and laying there for minutes. We have to talk about him saying that the turnaround fadeaway is a patented shot of his, one of his patented shots. We definitely have to touch on that, talk about that, man, because I told you, the technical fouls for Luka Doncic. I told you, Luka Doncic is one technical foul away from being suspended. LeBron James has one technical foul in the season. Luka Doncic has 15. 15. And LeBron got one? How is that possible, guys? How is that possible, man? So we definitely got to talk about this stuff. Because what I saw LeBron James do on that play at the end of the game, guys, when we talk about lack of respect, when I say that, I don't say that lightly. I don't say this stuff lightly. I take this stuff very serious. When I talk about honor, integrity, class, earning respect, I take this up very serious, guys. All right? I better turn my back on people in my life because they didn't want to hold themselves to these standards and they didn't want to act a certain way. We've all had to do this stuff in our lives. I better stop talking to people, man. I've got into fights with people, right? Because they not holding up their end of the bargains out here and they're not living that right? People want to try to act a certain way. You want to try to poke me? You want to try to act a certain way with me? You want to try to dishonor me? Hell no. So I've had to come to blows with people because of something as simple as respect. All right, guys? Excuse me, guys. And how much some of this stuff means and what I hold myself to, I hold other people to. I told you guys, when we talk about the respect of LeBron James, his fan base, and I told you guys about the last time that I got into an actual physical altercation with somebody. All right, I'm talking about physical altercation with another grown man. All right, that's a long, long time. I told you I was in the military, guys, and I told you guys I broke my hand. Now, when I worked in jail and corrections, I grabbed a lot of people. I slammed a lot of people. I mixed it up with a lot of inmates in there, man. You know what I'm saying? Either I was defending myself or I was defending another officer or I was, breaking up a fight like I've told you guys before. So I'm not talking about a scenario like that because I've been in a lot of those scenarios recently in my life. But I'm talking about actually a physical fight with another grown man where I'm fighting this person. I'm hitting them with fists because I'm fighting you. I'm not, doing my job necessarily, so to speak, right, as a correction officer. So the reason I got into that fight was straight up disrespect. And we're talking about disrespect in the military sense. Me outranking somebody, me giving them a direct order to do something, and then basically telling me to go F myself, screw you, and me basically telling them, listen, I'm giving you a direct order here. If you don't do this, right, this is going to go to another level here. That's what I told this dude. So, I don't want to tell my stories, man. I'm telling my story again, man. I'm telling stories again. I wanted to talk about something else, but that was why I got into the fight. All right? I got into the fight because of disrespect. You guys want to tell me? I finished telling this. You want me to tell a story? All right, man, I'll do the story, guys. I'll tell you the story. This is a fight story, though, guys, all right? Once again, I don't condone violence. I don't condone fighting people. None of this stuff, guys, all right? This is not me in a fight because I was, like I said, being a bully or trying to be a tough guy, you know what I'm saying, or any of this kind of stuff, man. None of that. I'm not that dude. I'm not a tough guy. I'm none of that stuff. So anyway, before I tell you guys what happened, it said after I gave the direct order, and this guy told me to basically go F myself on the order, I have to give you guys a little bit of context and perspective behind this. So anyway, I'm on my ship. This is when I was in the Navy. I'm on my ship, right? Now I told you, I was in E4 at the time. I was a third-class petty officer, all right? E4. The guy that I was addressing was in E3, all right? So he's below me a rank. He's a seaman, they're called, and I was a third-class petty officer. So I told you guys what? Because I have a big mouth, I have a loud mouth, right? I put myself in bad positions a lot of times. My mouth puts me in bad positions. Sometimes it's good, right? Sometimes my mouth put me in some good positions, right? Sometimes my mouth put me in some bad spots, all right? So in this scenario, we're running a general quarters drill here, all right? A general quarters drill, right? This is in case we get under attack, right? So I'm on a ship in the middle of the ocean. You know, maybe it's a submarine where they launch a torpedo at us, or someone from a plane comes overhead and, you know, they're trying to, you know, shoot missiles at the ship, or attack, or another ship comes and they try to attack us. Whatever the case may be, whatever the scenario is, they try to, you know, drop anthrax on the ship. We're in a general quarter scenario. So it's an emergency scenario, okay? So in a general quarter scenario, based off your job, your division, what you do on a day-to-day basis, everyone has a station. Everyone has a place, right, that you have to be. So wherever you are, right, you have a job to do. And it's all for the betterment of the ship, right? For the protection of the ship, the protection of your shipmates, right? Everyone's got to be working together, right? So that we can try to survive whatever the problem is here, whatever the situation that we're dealing with, right? So I was put, because I'm a loudmouth and I run my mouth a lot, I was punished. And where I was working for general quarters wasn't where I should have been based off of my job and my division. Okay, I was supposed to be in the missile launcher, let's say, right? In the missile launcher, in case, you know, you have to turn the key and then they launch missiles and they do all this weird stuff, right? So there are certain, you know, things that you have to do before they can launch the missiles. Anyway, that's where I should have been, in a missile launcher, right? Or in the control room or something, whatever the case may be. But here I am, and I'm in the fire. I'm a part of the fire team, right? I'm in the damage control center, right? I'm part of the damage control team, right? I'm on the fire team here, whether you got to put out a fire, whatever it is. You know, you have to go find somebody because the ship is full of smoke, right? Whatever. These are scenarios, or you never know. So, like I said, I'm E4. We do the scenario. The end of the whole general quarters is done now, right? They come over the speaker. All right. Now we have to clean everything up. We have to clean all this stuff up. We had to take and flake out the fire hoses. We had to take and put on the FFE, all our equipment, right? You're going to put all this stuff on, right? Firefighting equipment, FFE equipment, right? So you're over there putting the Scott air packs, right? You have all this stuff on, right? You have all this equipment on. So all this stuff that you take out, you're doing all this stuff. Now you got to clean it all up. So everyone has a job to do. Everyone's doing something. So this guy is sitting there, right? And we're all doing stuff. I don't even have to do this. I'm E4. I outrank all of these people there. I don't have to do a damn thing if I don't want to. I can stand there. I can pick my butt. I can post up on the bulkhead. I can chill. I don't have to do a damn thing. I'm not required to do anything. But I've told you guys what? I've always been a lead by example and do as I do, not as I say type person. So I'm right there with the E1s, the E2s, and the E3s, and I'm cleaning up all the stuff with them. I'm putting the hose away. All this kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, listen, man. I should have, like, sometimes when you think in retrospect, you think about making a career. But I'll touch on that in a second. So anyway, we're cleaning all this stuff up, right, guys? Again, bear with me on my story, guys. I'm getting to the point here. So we're cleaning all this stuff up, and I'm there with everybody else. And this one guy is not doing anything. He's sitting on his ass, not doing nothing. He's watching all of us work. That's not going to fly. Absolutely not. Now when I'm doing stuff and I don't have to, that's when I approached him. And I said it cool at first. I was like, yo, Lloyd, come on, man. His last name was Lloyd. I was like, come on, man. Help us out right now, man. You just going to sit there? I said it kind of jokingly, like, cool, right? And once again, he ignored me and just continued to sit there. So now we're cleaning everything up. So now I say it again. So now it gets to the point where we're pretty much done cleaning everything up, and this fool ain't help us do a damn thing. He sat his butt. So now other guys, right, other sailors have gotten upset with this dude too, because he's sitting up there not doing the damn thing. So me and him have a verbal back and forth. And I called him out. And I said, yo, I'm giving you a direct order. Like I told you guys in the beginning, right? I'm giving you a direct order because now I'm raising it up a notch. Because now I'm letting him know, if you don't respond, if you don't do what I'm telling you to do, I'm giving you a direct command here. There's going to be a problem. You're going to get in big trouble. Anyone that knows or has been in the military or knows someone that's been in the military, if someone gives you a direct order and they outrank you and you don't listen to that order, you're in big trouble, man. You're going to go to a place called Captain's Mast. Captain's Mast. That's where you're going to go. And you're going to have to stand tall before the captain at attention with the 1,000-yard stare. That's what you're going to have to do. And you're going to have to explain yourself. You're going to have to tell your story. Oh, and by the way, they're going to have all the people there who witnessed this stuff. Everyone going to be there. It don't matter if you didn't see nothing. If they know you was there, then damn it, you going to be there. Lined up, and you better have something to say. And their story better add up, and it better add up with your story. You ain't going to be lying up in there. I'm telling you guys right now. So anyway, now, like I said, now we're nose to nose, me and this dude, because he's refusing to do anything. And he starts to challenge me as if I'm nobody, because he says I'm not in his division. So I have no authority over him is what he's trying to claim to me. However, in this scenario, even though I'm not in his division, I am perfectly within my right to order him to do something. Not only that, dude, we're all cleaning up. Who the hell are you to not clean up? You're the fool here. All right? You're the fool. So me and this dude had a problem before. Like, we had a personal thing, me and this dude. Let's say this was personal. It became personal because we already had a personal thing before. All right? So I said something to him that I probably maybe shouldn't have said. I'm not going to tell you guys what I said to him, because he was talking greasy to me. So people started to come between us. So I said something to him. Like I said, I probably shouldn't have said it, not because I regret it or because it was a low-down, dirty thing to say to him, because this would escalated it to where it went. This, when I said this to him, this set him off. So as people are getting between us now, because it got heated right before I said this last comment to him, people are getting between us now. So on the ship, I'm in a scenario where it's a slight incline, because as the ship goes up to the forecastle, it goes a slight raise into the front of the ship. That's how the ships are designed, right? So when we are towards the front of the ship, right? Now remember, I'm not outside. This is inside the ship, all right? Inside the ship. So we're inside, and it is a kind of on a hill. So where he is, he's kind of up on a hill to where I am on a lower end here, right? And where we are, there's the fire storage locker, because that's where we were working, the fire team, right? There's a locker there with two doorways. There's a doorway here, right? I'm trying to paint a picture for you guys. And there's another doorway about 20 or 30 feet down, right where they are now, because now we've got separated by a bunch of people. There's about 4 or 5 people between us now. So where he is one entrance to the doorway, and where I am is the other entrance to the same doorway, the same locker, right? So I'm right there. So I said this to him. No, I didn't call him. I didn't say that to him. I said something about his woman, all right? I said something about his woman because I knew his woman, not like that, but she was in the Navy, so we knew who she was, right? And there were stories going on around about his woman, all right, about his girl. And the stories going around about his girl was that she was hooking up with other dudes that we knew. That was the stories going around about his girl. So I said something about that, and I set him off. So when I said that, what he did was he ran through that doorway. Like everybody was trying to push him back, right? He ran through the doorway So where I am now, I'm backing up, and the door that was next to me is now like, let's say I'm over here, and the doorway is like maybe 10 feet now over here. So when I said that to him, he sprinted through the doorway. Guys, no, I didn't, guys. I swear to God, I didn't know his girl like that. It wasn't a personal thing like that. I didn't know. I heard the rumors about his girl, and he heard them too. So when I said that to him, I said it would have set me off too, guys. Like I said, I shouldn't have said that because that's what set this whole thing in motion even further. I mean, like I said, he should have been following orders anyway. So anyway, he runs through the doorway, right? So now there's no one in between us now because he comes through that area, and now he comes out the other doorway, and he's right in front of me now, basically. And this guy comes running at me, right? You know, with the fist going. And I'm standing there. And I told you guys, I've been in a lot of fights in my life, guys. A lot of fights, man. I told you because I'm loud, I'm aggressive, right? I told you I say things sometimes. I've stood up for people when I shouldn't have, probably. I should have shut up, right? This is me. I'm putting myself in these scenarios sometimes. So in these scenarios for me, I'm comfortable with people charging me or someone threatening me or doing something, wanting to do something to me physically. I'm comfortable in these scenarios. Once again, I'm not a badass. I ain't no tough guy. I ain't no jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, MMA, UFC dude. None of this stuff. I told you guys, if you know when you see anybody with cauliflower ear, avoid them dudes. I ain't no Navy SEAL. None of this stuff. But I've been in a lot of altercations. So when this dude came at me, my only instinct was to throw the punch, was to just throw a punch. I had to throw the punch. I wasn't going to wait for him to throw a punch at me or for him to grab me. Remember, this was not a scenario that I've told you guys before when I'm wrestling with somebody because they call me out and we're just wrestling. It wasn't ever a fist fight. It was a wrestle. And then you guys wrestle, you pin somebody, and that's the end of it. This was a straight up fight. A straight up fight. All right, this guy was trying to hurt me. He's trying to do something to me. So I threw the punch, guys, right? Now, because he's coming kind of on a downward angle, downhill to me, he had a lot of momentum coming at me. Yo, guys, when I hit this dude square in the face, guys. I hit him, right in the face. Square. I hit him hard. And when I hit him, I felt and heard a pop. Pop, like a loud sound in my hand. And I told you I broke my hand. So when I hit him, right? And I hit that dude like right here, man. That's a hard part to get hit. That's a hard part in your hand. When I hit him, I immediately felt it in my hand. And his head went like this. He went straight back up like this. And guys, no joke. He came back like this and he fell onto me. Like he wasn't knocked out, but he was dazed. And he fell onto me and started to pull my shirt. You wear coveralls. So he was pulling on my coveralls to hold himself from falling down. Guys, true story. I grabbed his head. I looked him in his eyes. I lifted his head up like this to look me in my eyes, to look at me, right? To see if he was like awake still. And he was looking at me. And I took his head and face. Guys, once again, I'm not condoning violence here. And I'm not bragging about myself. I'm just telling you guys a story, man. Just telling you guys a story here. All right, I'm not condoning violence, guys. Again, I haven't been, that was a long time since 2002? No, 2003. It's 2003, guys. It's a long time ago, man. So I grabbed his head and I went like this. Bang! Right into my knee, guys. No lie. That's what I did. Bang! Just like that. Guys, when I hit him with that knee, blood, his head like that, blood splattered all over me, all over the ceiling, all over the wall. Blood went everywhere. And when I hit him with the knee, he went down. And that was the end of it. I didn't hit him again or none of that stuff. And my hand was immediately started hurting. Like bad. So after that scenario, I didn't want to get in trouble because I told you blood was everywhere. I was like, damn. And everybody was there, right? And people started grabbing me and breaking it up. And everybody was telling me to run. They're like, run. Before, like someone who outranks me, someone comes, a chief or somebody, and I get in trouble. Guys, I went to the mess decks, right? I ran to the mess decks. And I looked at my hand. My hand was all swole up. and the bone was sticking up, not through my skin, but the bone was like, I don't know if you guys can tell right here, it kind of raised up right there, but the bone was sticking up like this, like the way it broke, it was sticking up right here. So it was a big bump in my hand. And my knuckle, like you see my knuckle's not even there. You see how it's missing right here? My knuckle was like all the way indented, like all the way gone. I had like no knuckle there. So when I got to the mess decks, I went and got some ice, right? So I went and got some ice from the ice machine, and I put my hand in the ice in a big bowl, right, that I was able to get from the kitchen. So I'm sitting on the mess decks, right, with my hand in this bowl of ice, and some of my friends are there, next to me, sitting down next to me, and they're like, yo, that was crazy. And I got blood all over my coveralls, but they're navy blue. So you can't really see the blood on my uniform because they're navy blue coveralls. So we're all talking about what happened, and I'm freaking out because I'm gonna get in huge trouble now, guys. I can get kicked out the military for this. They can take my rank away from me. I can get in a big. This is bad stuff, guys. The only thing I have on my side is that I gave him a direct order, and he refused the direct order in front of everybody. There were other people that witnessed him refuse the direct order right there. That's the only thing I had working for me. So I'm sitting there. And the chief comes, and he's the doc, right? We call him doc. He's the medical chief on the boat. He works in the medical office. He was a chief, right? So I'm an E4, third class petty officer. Then you have second class. Then you have first class. Then you have chief. Then senior chief. Then master chief. That's how it goes enlisted, ranking in the military. So he was a chief. So he outranked me heavily. If you wear khaki uniforms in the Navy, in the military, you're very high ranking. You get treated differently. You're on another level. You live in another world, essentially, when you are that ranked and that high. So this dude was way outranked. He's a chief. He comes over to me, and he goes, how you guys doing? And we're all sitting there, and I'm like, why the hell is this guy here? So he's looking at me, and he goes, Samuels, let me see your hand. So I pull my hand out the ice, and my hand is jacked up, y'all. My hand is jacked up, man. It's all swole up. The bone is all messed up. I mean, my head is jacked. And I was just going to let everything go and hope it would heal on its own. And he brought me down to medical. Guys, I ended up going to captain's mass for this. I had to go through all the steps. Like there are certain steps you have to go through. And it goes all the way up to the captain. When I got to the captain, and the captain's mass, guys, because I told you, and went to the chiefs, went to the chief, right? The chiefs had to have a meeting first, right? We went and said the chiefs, then the chiefs moved up to command, right? And then we went all the way to the captain. So when we got to the captain, right, captain's mass, I told you guys, I'm there at attention in uniform, man, and you staring, like, I was so scared and so nervous because I thought they were going to take my rank away from me. You know how hard it is for me to make E4? You know how hard it was for me to make that rank as a gunner's mate? That's one of the hardest ranks, or one of the hardest rates to get rank in, because there's so many sailors that are gunner's mates. So the more people you have in your rate, the harder it is to make rank in your rate. All right? So I was worried they were going to strip me of my rank. And when I went to captain's mass, I remember they had like 3 or 4 witnesses there that saw everything from the start, right? And these people had to testify, and they had to make statements, right there in front of me. They had to, speak their truths and say whatever they thought they saw, however they thought it went down. And I gave my version of whatever went down. And I told you, the only version that made sense was what everybody else was saying, that line that went in line with what I was saying. And at the end of everything, guys, it all came down to him refusing a direct order. That's what it came down to, guys. And I was saved. And they erased that from my record because, once again, I was pretty much defending myself, they said, and I gave a direct order. And this was a refusal of a direct order, guys. That's what happened, guys. That was the last physical altercation that I ever got into in my life. And that other guy, the other sailor that I got into the fight with, he ended up getting his rank bust down in rank, and he ended up getting put on restriction. So when you get put on restriction, anytime that we went somewhere, like you go to a port, you go to another country, right? You can't go out on liberty. So he was put on restriction. He lost his rank, man. He got in big trouble, this dude, because he refused to direct order this dude, man. Like he basically jacked up his whole career because of that stuff, man. Insane, man. But yeah, guys, that's the last fight I got into, man. So again, shout out to all you guys for coming through, man, and you know, staying there and hanging in through my stories. As far as retiring, you know, in the Navy or the military, I told you guys when I joined the military, I never joined it as or realizing what the Navy was. Even when I left the military, I didn't even realize, you know, what I was leaving. But there were certain scenarios in my life. There were certain things that I noticed about guys that were living in the military. Not everybody, because a lot of people that I know that did 30 years in the Navy, right? Military lifers. Great lives, man. Did great experiences, man. Great careers. But then other guys, they've had things, and it's tough because the military and the Navy, I can only speak from the Navy in my experience. Depending on the job you worked, it really depended on the experience you had as far as you having to be on a ship. I told you I did 2 deployments in my 4 years. There are some people that they never did any deployments when they were in, but I did 2. And I remember when I was thinking about signing up, I was going to sign up for another 4 more years. And I told myself, if I did 8 years, then I might as well do 10. And if I do 10, I might as well do 20. That's what I told myself. However, we all know that we were at war. I told you guys, I went in 1999, guys. There was nothing going on, right? Technically, right? And then all of a sudden, 9/11 happened. And I told you, my mother freaked out. Freaked out, man. She was writing me letters all the time. She was freaking out, man, right? Because I was over there. So when you're in war, and I'm a gunner's mate, and some of the things that I had to do and some of the scenarios that I was in were dangerous scenarios. So I told the people what I wanted to do, what I was trying to do was get a shore duty, all right, where I didn't have to live on a ship anymore, where I could live on shore, hence the name shore duty. So I wanted to, shout out to my man McZuggins for coming through. Shout out to my man Slick Talk. Hell yeah, man, last hell of a last fight. So when you talk about, like, you know, being like a lifer and some of the things that I was telling you guys about, you know, the military, in my experience, like I said, it might be different from other people's experience and what they had and what was going on for them and some of the scenarios that they saw and some of the scenarios they were under. But I wanted to get shore duty. So when I went to the people, right, to basically, you know, sign for another 4 years, I asked them if I could go to shore duty first, right? And they told me that I would have to go on another deployment, right? And then I could go to shore duty. But it wasn't going to be for certain. It wasn't going to be a definite because we were at war. So, you know, it was one of those things where because of the job that I had, the training that I had, it kind of handcuffed me. And it really prohibited me from getting a shore command or shore duty. And I didn't want to do another deployment right away. And I told them that. So I said, if you guys can't get me shore duty and you're going to send me back out there again, I was like, then I'm just going to get out after my 4 years and, like I said, figure out something else. Like I said, some things, like, what was tough that I saw, guys? And like I said, I don't want to, I'm kind of rambling on here. I'm probably going to end the live show soon, guys, because I know I'm kind of just, I didn't even get into, sometimes I do this all the time, guys, and forgive me. I don't even talk about what I said I was going to talk about, or I miss, bringing up something, guys. So once again, forgive me, man. But, one of the things that was interesting, man, thank you very much, chaps. Means a lot. I really appreciate it. Yeah, shout out to Hydro, too. What up, man? Mr. Big Tune, what up? Yeah, I appreciate that. I actually like these stories that have nothing to do with sports, but somehow still tie into sports. That's a great point. I guess some of this stuff still does tie into sports because we all know that sports and life, right? There's a crossover, a correlation with sports and life. That's the great thing about sports, right? Because it can teach us a lot of things about life. And a lot of things in life can teach us about sports. It goes hand in hand, a lot of this stuff. When you talk about the honor, the class, the integrity, earning respect, working hard, competing. You can do this in a regular job. Competing, it doesn't be on a basketball court. You compete at work. You compete in the office, right? Whatever it is. So shout out to my man, Mr. Big Twain, 49er, for what you're saying. I really appreciate that. But one of the things that I noticed is that the story with the Barracudas, the Barracuda story was pretty damn funny, man. I guess I really appreciate you guys. I'm gonna do a live on Sunday, so maybe on Sunday we'll laugh at some of this other LeBron James stuff that I was gonna talk about. But I told you guys, like, they were just tough scenarios sometimes, man. Like, living on a ship is not easy. Like I told you, I wasn't on an aircraft carrier. I was on an Aegis cruiser. All right, I was on the USS Normandy, CG-60. All right, it's a warship, and we had about 350 sailors on the ship. Officers and enlisted, male and female. It was a co-ed ship, which got a little crazy sometimes. Listen, I'll tell you some other stories the other day, man. We got a little crazy on there on a co-ed ship, guys. You're talking about the middle of the ocean. You're talking about, like I said, but unfortunately, and shout out to any women out there that were in the Navy. The Navy got some ugly ass women, man. Yo, the Navy had some busted chicks, man. We had some busted women out there, man. Yo, for real. There were some flying women. There were some flying ones, no doubt. There were some really flying ones, man. But the majority of the women in the Navy, they were busted, y'all. Well, I mean, it was hurt out there, y'all. There were slim pickings. So when we went out on these deployments, guys, you're out for 6 months in the middle of the ocean, going to different countries, doing stuff. When you're out there in the ocean for all these months, let's say there's 5 good-looking women out of 60, let's say. Right? Let's say there were 60 to 70 women on my ship. Maybe 5 of them were good-looking. I'm not even joking, guys. Maybe 5 were good-looking. Everyone's fighting for those 5 women. Everyone's fighting for those 5 girls. Everybody. So you got to come with your swaggiest outfits. You got to be cool as hell. You know what I'm saying? I mean, guys, it's just the way it was, man. All right? Everyone else was fighting over the scraps. All right? And there was we used to joke and laugh that the Air Force had all the hot chicks. Right? We used to always laugh about that. Because we would go to these clubs, right? And certain clubs you would go to, right? They would be like military places, right? So you go to like the military, club or whatever it is on the base, right? And you get like maybe some of the Air Force people, you get some of the Marines out there, you get some of the Navy women. And I'm telling you guys right now, the Air Force had the women. I'm speaking from the early 2000s. I don't know about now, over the last 5 years. When I was in the early 2000s, the Air Force had all the chicks, man. All the chicks. The Navy, the Marines, oh, good Lord. The Marine women was brutal looking, man. You had some big refrigerator looking chicks out there, man. Like, you ain't messing with them ladies. If you a Marine and you a woman, then, you on another level, for real. You got to be tough to go out there. Marines is tough, all right? That's why they the Marines. Them dudes, man, they be training like crazy. And we used to always get into it with the Marines, man. Always get into it with them dudes. They used to march. I remember when I was in C school, I was on we were on a base with Marines also, right? And I remember the morning, because I was a night student. These Marines would run by our barracks early in the morning on purpose, right? They do all. Remember, there's something called like you ever heard of like gamesmanship, right? You heard of these kinds of things, right? Like we would mess with each other, and that's what you guys would do. They come by early in the morning, man, jogging and singing their songs early in the morning, running, doing all this PT. Right outside the windows, man, waking us up and all kinds of crazy stuff, man. I remember we used to just have all kinds of beef with the Marines all the time, man. Like I said, you never know. It go down with the Marines and the Navy. The Army guys, we used to make fun of the Army guys all the time. We used to always make fun of the Air Force guys. We used to always laugh at the Air Force. I remember one of my friends, or one of the guys in my division in boot camp, he got a letter one day from one of his friends who was in boot camp in the Air Force, right? And he was talking about how they were off on the weekends in boot camp. Yo, guys, it was crazy because in my division, we didn't even get like a day off. Like every Sunday was supposed to be a holiday routine. They called it holiday routine in boot camp on Sundays, right? Where you get a couple of hours to write letters to your family, right? To look at your mail, right? It's called a holiday routine. You get to do whatever you want there, to a degree. You're in the boot camp. But you get some freedom there to do some of your own, your own stuff right there. And that wasn't always going to be given to you. And in my division, we didn't always get the holiday routine. So sometimes we didn't get a chance to write letters to our families and stuff like that. So anytime you had opportunities to do this stuff, you would want to take it. And I remember this kid saying that they were off on the weekends. We didn't have weekends off. We didn't have no days off. And they were off on the weekends in Air Force boot camp. I was like, damn, man. We used to clown them dudes all the time. I remember we used to get into it with the Coast Guard guys. We used to always clown the Coast Guard dudes. So once again, shout out to all you guys out there, man. Oh, man. You guys, I'm thinking, I got so many stories, man. It's just crazy stuff. Shout out to all you guys that served in the military out there, man. Thank you for your service. Yes. Oh, see, you know the deal, Hydro. Man, all the chicks out there, I'm telling you right now, man. And you know, it's so funny when you talk about the military. Like I said, I met people from parts of the country that I would never go to. I knew a guy from Wyoming. I knew a guy from Montana. I didn't even know people live out there. But I knew a guy from Montana in my division. And I remember he would tell me a story one day. I won't tell a story now, but I mean, some of these people that I met from some of these areas, I remember I knew a dude from Florida that was in my boot camp division. He had never seen snow before. And we went, and boot camp division is in Great Lake, Illinois, guys. And this dude never saw snow, right? He was like, he reminded me of almost like a surfer type of dude, really, like a hang 10, hang loose dude. Like he was really like one of them kind of guys, man. Really cool dude, man. I ended up being really friendly with him. He had never seen snow before. And we had a big snowstorm because you're up there in Great Lakes, Illinois, up by the Chicago area, guys. They get crazy up there sometimes. We had giant snowstorms sometimes up there because I was in boot camp from August to November. We had a big snowstorm up there, man. And I remember when it snowed, he was freaking out, this dude, man. He thought it was the coolest thing ever, man. He was like, I can't believe this. This is nuts. I mean, just weird. You know, like I said, people from different places. And I told you, this is where I gained my perspective from in life, by meeting these different kinds of people and listening to some of the stories that they tell me and some of their experiences from where they're from, or like I said, where they grew up, or, you know, how they were raised, you know, some of the customs and some of these kinds of things that they were into. So again, guys, oh my goodness gracious, man. It was a scene with my buddy from Jamaica, first time seeing, so that's crazy right there. I'm telling you. These are the facts. Shout out to my man Vernon Lee Warren. Yo, you guys, like I said, man, you guys are killing in the chat right now. You guys are awesome, man. For real. Like I said, I'm really humbled by everything. The real side beer, shout out to you. I donate to you because you have earned my respect, and this is the best way for me to show it. I support those that support me and stand for respect. I really appreciate that. The real side beer, like I said, sometimes you guys make me want to cry. I mean, you guys are bringing a tear to my eye. So it really means a lot that you guys, like I said, you donate and you guys share the things that you guys, and you say these kinds of things to me. This is part of the reason why I like to share my stories with you guys, because like I said, you guys are like family to me out here. And the things that I shared my personal stuff with you guys. A lot of you guys share your personal stuff with me. And, we have a lot of similar, way of thinking about a lot of this stuff, how we see the world and how we see life and stuff like that. And you guys know that I'm not never like preaching to you guys or preaching at people here when I tell these stories, or I'm talking to you guys about, something or how I see something. I'm just giving you the real, how I feel about it. And I tell you guys all the time, I'm trying to give you guys perspective and context as to why I feel that way. I feel like a lot of you guys over the couple of years that I've been on here, I feel like a lot of you guys really understand and you get, what I'm saying when I say a lot of stuff, when I'm explaining to you guys. You guys understand this, man. So once again, shout out to you guys that continue to support my channel, that continue to come through, stand up. Like I said, it matters. All right, guys, trust me, it matters, man. What we're doing, what we've been doing, all this stuff matters out here. Because like I said, what they're trying to do is they're trying to rewrite the history of a sport that we already saw. We already witnessed it happen. We saw this stuff happen. And they're trying to change it now. And I won't allow that. I told you, we owe all those great players that we grew up watching. We owe them. So I've told you guys before, it's not just about Michael Jordan. Because when I set the record straight, right, on whatever it is, it's not about just Michael Jordan. It's about the entire era. All of the great players that played back in the day. That's what we're doing here. So, when we're setting the record straight on something that they said about Michael Jordan, you know what I'm saying? By extension, we're also setting the record straight on all the other guys, his contemporaries of the 90s, the guys in the 80s. Because remember, they continue to tear down the competition of these eras. They continue to undervalue and devalue the skills and what guys could do in the 60s or the 70s, the 80s, right? oh, they weren't playing basketball. They were just fouling guys out there. No, they were out there intimidating fools. They was out there letting you know, yo, you're going to come in here for a layup. You're going to earn that layup. You're going to earn that layup. Now, you get the Olay. You want to layup? Go ahead, man. Knock yourself out. I'm just going to get the rebound if you miss it. If not, we're going to inbound it. We good. That's what you get now. Back in the day, I told you, what made the Drake dunkers so great back in the day, it wasn't always necessarily the creative dunks or the variety of dunks they did, but it was who they were doing it on. When I see Dr. J fly through the air and dunk it on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like Kareem is like trying to block him, and he still throws it on Kareem, when I see that, it doesn't necessarily matter how he looked when he dunked it, but you see he dunked on Kareem. And why is that impressive? Because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is trying to block the shot. He's trying. He's a legendary defensive big man and a guy that's going to try to block your shot. So when you dunk on him, it's more impressive, is it not? Yeah, it is. I told you, imagine trying to dunk on Will Chamberlain. You think that was easy? That's not easy to do. No way in hell. So when you're talking about trying to go against Artis Gilmore or Nate Thurman or Willis Reed, right? Or Hakeem Olajuwon or David Robinson, right? Or Mutombo, it's going to be that much more impressive dunking on those guys, is it not? Isn't that more impressive than dunking on Chet Holmgren? Or Brook Lopez? Or Bam Adebayo? Or Jaren Jackson Jr.? And no disrespect to those guys, but they're not legendary defenders. They're not legendary shot blockers. They're not intimidators. Back in the day, you were going to take an elbow to the face. You were going to take a knee. You were going to take a shoulder. You might fall down and get hurt, man. For that dunk. That's what might happen to you. Now, it's not the same. So when guys are coming down the lane, Dominique Wilkins, Clyde Drexler, Dr. J, Michael Jordan, Kobe, Vince Carter, when they're flying down the lane, right? And they dunk on a Mutombo, right? Or you dunk on one of these guys, a Ben Wallace, or Dwight Howard, right? You dunk on a legit shot blocker, Patrick Ewing, right? It's that much more impressive when you dunk on those guys because they're going to give effort trying to block your shot, and they might hurt you blocking your shot. That's right. Shots at B-double. Pippen's dunk on Ewing. So shout out to my man Praise It Don. Sports and fitness rants continue stopping the lies and narratives. You know that. You know the deal. Now these weird-ass LeBron James fans, I got all kinds of weird fan bases coming up into my chats, coming into my live shows, just saying all kinds of weird things now. This weird promotion that we get out here from these guys, none of this stuff adds up anymore, guys. None of it adds up. I'm not buying this stuff, all right? This weak-ass era, I don't want to hear about this crap anymore. Shout out to my man Story Games for coming through. If LeBron James took that knee that you gave to that guy in the military, he would be laying on the court to this day. Yo, guys, let me tell you something right now, man. Like I told you, I ain't never hit nobody with no knee like that in my life, guys. I've been in a lot of fights, man. I've probably been over over 30 fights in my life, man. And I ain't never hit nobody with no knee like that, man. I ain't never hit nobody with no knee like that. When I hit that dude with that knee, guys, I'm telling you guys right now, it was like an explosion. But the only reason that I hit him with the knee is because my hand was on fire. My hand was jacked up, and I'm left-handed. You know what I'm saying? I hit him with the left, and the knee was right there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, we've seen LeBron James. That man throw himself into the stands. He's knocking over drinks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, I remember one time I got cheap shotted. Right in the face, man. Dude punched me right in my face, man. Cheap shot. I got into an argument with a dude, the guy that I told you I was wrestling on the bathroom floor with. Remember I told you guys I got into a fight with that dude later on, right? Months down the road. I got into a fist fight with that dude. This is before the fist fight with the other guy I got into for this. This was like the fight before my last fight. But this dude cheap shot me in the face. I remember we got into a little scuffle. I got into a little kerfuffle with this dude, right? And we was out there, pushing each other and getting heated. And people broke us up, I remember, right? People was pulling me back, right? Because I was about to pummel this dude, right? And I remember one of my friends pulling me off of him, right? And he had his arms around my arms like this. I don't know why my boy did this to me, but this is what he did to me, right? So as he's pulling me back, he trips and we both trip and we're falling back and we hit the railing, right? Because I'm on like a balcony, right? Almost like a walkway here. So we fall back into this wall, man. He got my arms pinned back and I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Get off of me, dude. And it's my boy. It's my friend. He think he's doing me a solid here because he trying to tell me, yo, somebody's coming. We didn't want to get in trouble, right? So he's pulling me back. Yo, when I turned around to tell him to get off me, guys, when I turned my head back this way, that dude was right here. He was right in my face. And he said, wham, right in my face, y'all, back. Yo, my boy still had my hands behind my back. And I'm like, dude, get off me. Boom, I got hit right in the face, dude. I couldn't believe that. Yo, my friend let go of me. Yo, I'm rambling on, man. Anyway, man, I'm rambling on here, guys. Insane stuff, man. Knocking over Jazz. Remember LeBron James? They gave him the napkin. This man was handed a napkin. A napkin? Dude, you weak as hell. You weak and soft, man. That's why your fan base is weak. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious, man. I tell you right now, though, when I took that punch to the face, like I told you, I was cheap shot essentially. I was impressed with myself, not necessarily falling down and being knocked the hell out, because that dude caught me clean the nose, man. I'm talking about right in the face, man. He caught me. And then he ran away. Punk ass dude, man. Goodness gracious, man. Yeah. Yo, we're going to talk about some of this stuff in the live on Sunday, guys. Honestly, guys, I want you guys please forgive me, man. All right, because I know that sometimes I go off on tangents, and I know that all you guys probably don't appreciate this. That I ramble and I lose sometimes. Like, you know, I was talking about something, and then we went down this avenue, and I had some stuff, you know, written down here that I wanted to touch on, and I don't get to some of this stuff sometimes. So I really do want to say I'm sorry, guys, to you guys, because, like I said, man, I know that all you guys can't want to listen to me. You know, I don't know, man. As I said, so forgive me for saying, but tell my stories, man. And sometimes rambling on, because telling one story, I guess, is okay. But sometimes I'm telling you guys like 2 or 3 stories here, and nobody wants to sit here and listen to me ramble on, you know, talking stories all the time. So again, I really appreciate you guys coming through on the Friday night rants. Yo, RC 900, I appreciate like that, man. You guys know what's about for me on this channel. You know, I never write stuff down when I do my videos. I usually write down, you know, comments or, you know, information so I can read it off so you guys can understand the context I give for the video. That's why I do. But everything I do in these live shows, you know, when I do these videos, I said all this stuff is just me, just giving you me. And sometimes the topics that we come up with in the conversations, where they go, like I said, sometimes you never know what's gonna happen, and that's why I guess it's always been appropriate. And I told you guys when I was thinking of a title, you know, or a name for my channel, I knew that this was something that it had to be about. It had to be something about me ranting and rants, because this always been what I've done. I've always been doing this kind of stuff. All right. Like I told you, this is part of what gets me in trouble sometimes, right? When I was in the military sometimes, right? When I was working in the jail, like sometimes I would have one of these rants where I would go off on somebody, right? And I told you I put myself in a bad scenario where I'm in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because I said something and I meant right? It meant well, but I said the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember one time, again, I'm not gonna forget it. I always do that, man. I always do that stuff. No, but I was gonna say, I remember one time when I was working at the jail, man, right? And I got into a little tiff. I got into several situations in that jail, man, with some of these guys, man, because these guys were kind of weird and kind of crazy, some of the stuff they would say. So I remember I got into a little thing in the locker room with one of the guys, right? And we had an unwritten rule in the jail, right, between the other officers in there. What happens in the locker room, stay in the locker room, right? It don't leave the locker room. There's no cameras in the locker room. There's nothing that, you know, could basically, you know, you could get in trouble for doing or saying unless someone rats you out. And there were a lot of rats that worked in that jail. A lot of these guys were rats, man. They tell on you, right? They lie about you. They make up a scenario, some weird stuff out there. LeBron James fan type people out here, man. I was working with some of these dudes, man. So I had a situation with them dudes in the locker room, right? So we got into it, not like a physical fight or anything like that, but we got into it. I said some things to him, man, and he didn't like some of the stuff I said to him because basically, sometimes we don't say things because what we've said before. If you don't have something nice to say, then you don't say anything, and I believe in that, right? Because I don't want problems, and once again, if I don't have anything to say something about somebody, I'm not going to say anything, man. I'm going to keep my mouth shut until it's time for me to say something. So I said something about this dude, basically letting him know about himself and how everybody else in this jail views you, all the officers, and how we don't respect you, and why you're a clown. All right, so I told this dude this stuff. So what did he do? He went and told the captain on me. This dude went and told the freaking captain, man. The captain, guys, the captain is like right under the chief, man. Like, what are we doing here? So it goes officer, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, chief. This dude went to the freaking captain, not the sergeant, not the lieutenant. He went to the freaking captain and told the captain that I said some nasty stuff to him in the locker room. So what had to happen to me, guys? All right, and I got stories for days in the jail. I got jail stories. I could write a freaking book, man, on this stuff, guys. A book, man. All right? So the captain calls me into the office. I'm leaving the locker room from work. He calls me in the office, the captain. And once again, I was a veteran there. I was there for years already. I was already there for 9 or 10 years at the time. So I have a rapport there, a relationship with the captain, with a lot of the other officers there, right? I was there longer than this guy was. So once again, I earned respect in that building, but I also earned a reputation as a guy that, might jump on somebody. Somebody's going to say something. Someone's going to speak up and going to speak his mind. That's the reputation I earned. Yo, man, don't mess with Robin like that, man, because he don't play no games. That's the reputation I earned. I told you, I was respected in there by not the officers, by the inmates also. So he calls me in the office, and he asked me about what I said. Guys, this is my exact response to the captain. To the captain. I said to him, and I gave him the classic. I said, with all due respect, Captain, I hate him with the all due respect. I had to do it to him. I said, with all due respect, Captain, what happens in that locker room ain't none of your business. That's what I said to him. And you know what he said to me? You know what the captain said to me? He was sitting in his chair, and I was standing there. And he looked me dead in my eye. And he said, you know what, Robin? You right. It ain't my business. He said, have a good day. I'll see you later. And I went about my day. That's what happened that day. So again, these are the kinds of things that I've told you guys about. These are the kinds of situations that I've been in. Like I said, because I didn't shut up. And my wife tells me this all the time. Because my wife's been with me for almost 20 years. Guys, we've been together 20 years. It'll be 21 years this year. But me and my wife been together. So she knows. And she's told me many times, shut up. You don't shut up. She goes, you need to shut up. So I try to shut up now. Well, to a degree. You guys see, I still don't shut up, but I've been in scenarios recently. And that's why I always laugh at my wife, because she sees how I am. And sometimes she treats me and acts as if I'm a guy that's been in many physical altercations around her. My wife has never seen me fight anybody. She's never seen me get into a physical altercation. She's seen me get into some heated moments with other grown men. Absolutely. She's seen me do. Once again, I'm a coach, guys. So I'm out there and I'm putting myself in scenarios sometimes with other parents, other adults. And I told you, sometimes I call people out and my wife is like pulling on my shirt and she's like, shut up. What are you doing? And I'm like, no, I got to say something here. I got to say something. Because if I see something and I don't respect it, I'm going to say something to you. So sometimes you have to shut up. I told you, people are crazy, man. So I try to shut up now and not get into any scenarios that are not, that I shouldn't get into sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because my wife has told me to shut the hell up. Shut up. Shut up, Robin. You got it. Oh, goodness gracious, man. Oh, good Lord, man. Yo, I really enjoy doing these live shows with you guys. I really do, man. So like I said, it's really humbling for all you guys to come through and listen to me and share your thoughts. I see you guys in the chat. Like I said, you guys really have some good insights, and you guys really add to the live show. I hope I didn't miss anybody's supers. No, I don't think I missed anybody's supers. So again, I'm gonna do a Sunday morning live. Again, you guys know that. I think you guys, I think the San Antonio Spurs, I think they're a dangerous team, man. I think to go back to the Spurs, I think they're a dangerous team. And some of the stuff that I want to touch on today, we'll talk about on Sunday. I probably won't do anything tomorrow. I'll give my voice a rest. I got some housework I got to get done anyway tomorrow. I'll be back up in that damn attic again. Yo, guys, I'm a new homeowner. I told you I've been in the house a little bit over a year. You guys know that. And I'm doing some of the stuff in this house, man. My goodness, man. I never thought I would be doing some of this stuff. So once again, shout out to all you guys out there that own homes or, rental properties or whatever you do, and you do DIY. I've been doing a lot of DIY, man. And I'll be up in that act tomorrow, pulling this old ass insulation up out of there, man. I got this whole suit and the mask, and I mean, it's crazy up there, man. So again, shout out to all you guys, man. I said, I hope you guys have a good Friday night. If you're going out or doing something, be safe out there. And I'll catch you guys, on the Sunday edition. Once again, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for all the support. It really means a lot, guys. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.